Howdy folks, today we're playing Esper Artifacts in Aetherdrift Standard. This deck is built around two powerful 3-mana artifact engines, one of them being Simulacrum Synthesizer. I'm sure you've seen it. Whenever an artifact you control with mana value 3 or greater enters, create a construct token that gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Our deck is almost entirely artifacts, so those are huge tokens. And Repurposing Bay. It's kind of like a birthing pod-esque effect for artifacts. You sacrifice an artifact after paying 2 once it's on the battlefield. And then you go and search your library for a mana value 1 equal to 1 plus the sacrificed artifact's mana value. So if I sacrificed a 4 mana value Solemn Simulacrum, I can go get a Memory Garden. And if I sacrificed a Memory Garden, I could go get a Nexus of Becoming. If I sacrificed a Nexus of Becoming, I could get a Demonic Junker. Demonic Junker to Voyage Home. Demonic Junker to Cityscape Leveler. Cityscape Leveler to Portal Phyrexia. That's sort of the chain we're trying to hit with this deck. But very often you'll see that we're just going straight from Demonic Junker to Cityscape Leveler. It's very hard to hit the chain multiple times. So it's the real strength of this deck is Demonic Junker is just a very powerful 7-mana artifact that happens to cost way less because it has affinity for artifacts. Then you can jump up and get your Cityscape Leveler, which is the best 8-mana artifact in Standard. And then Portal to Phyrexia after that can be a really game ender. Those things are all on top of your Solemn Simulacrum Synthesizer strategy, which just makes a huge battlefield. So those are all the top-end parts of the deck, but how do you live long enough to get there? Well, that's why this deck is Esper, so you can pair the really strong Grim Bauble and Tithing Blade effects. So Grim Bauble, great against mono-red style cards, 2 damage. Can be really good against Heartfire Hero. And the other mice in that deck. Tithing Blade gets anything, any creature that has them sacrificed. Carrot Cake is a way to get a 1/1 on the battlefield, and then when you could sacrifice it to gain 3 life and get another 1/1. Spring-Loaded Saw Blades deals 5 damage to target tap creature an opponent controls. Another removal spell for when our opponent attacks. Those are really artifacts that are designed to stay on the battlefield to then be sacrificed with Repurposing Bay. In the mana base, we have almost exclusively mana to support this Esper game plan because it's kind of hard to play Esper in this format. And then we also have Mycosynth Garden because if you're able to copy Simulacrum Synthesizer, it's pretty busted. Having 2 of these on the battlefield is the gateway to an easy victory. That's also, part of the Repurposing Bay. Sacrificing these 2-mana artifacts gets you a Simulacrum Synthesizer, really levels up your game plan. But yeah, that's strategy here. Let's see how well the strategy works on the ladder. Okay, we're going first, and you definitely don't want to see Voyage Home in your hand necessarily to start the game. And this hand can't even cast your Carrot Cake, but it does have the most important card in your deck, Simulacrum Synthesizer. I think if we could cast this Carrot Cake, we would keep that, but since that's not the case, let's put it to the bottom. It's a much better hand. I think we can get rid of one of these lands, probably a Plains. Actually, I think we want to get rid of this. Yeah, get rid of a Plains. Keep that Mycosynth Gardens. That way we can. It does tap for blue. Costs a whole extra mana. So it'd be at 4 mana to tap it, but it does theoretically tap for blue. Okay, opponent Lush Portico. What do they mill here? Let's see what kind of deck they are. Could be definitely the Domain deck. Plays Lush Portico. Kept it on top. Play Boring Verge. Pass the turn. This was not a blue source, so we can't just jam the synthesizer next turn. Okay, so this is could definitely be the Domain deck. It's my best bet here. Perfect draw, by the way, so we can just slam this. Keep this Demonic Junker. Our opponent could very easily now have up a Leyline Binding, but I don't think they would have let us untap. So I think we're just going to go like this and pass the turn. See what our opponent goes with here. They have Overlord of the Mistmoors. Okay. So that's definitely what they're doing here. Let's Let's try to copy this Simulacrum Synthesizer. And we just need to be able to get artifacts going for this Simulacrum Synthesizer. These Tithing Blades are not really going to get any better, so let's just get rolling here. Our opponent could definitely just roll Zur into us here. Zur here would be pretty good. Next turn we do get the Demonic Junker. No Zur. Man, yeah, I think this is just... It's not going to kill anything, but it's just worth getting two huge creatures here. Now, untap land lets us Nexus, which gets us more creatures. Seized from Slumber. Interesting. You usually see Rideout in this spot. I think it's Rideout. Ride's End, that's what it's called. You see Ride's End in this spot, but Seized from Slumber is interesting. They impended that when they could have just cast it full bore. To me, that leads me to believe that they do have a either a Ride's End or a Leyline's Binding here. Okay, Nexus it is. Screw here. Go to combat. Draw a card, then I can exile an artifact, a creature from our hands. Sure thing. Yeah, put this in the battlefield. Just have absolutely just huge amounts here. Our opponent has to have a Wrath here to beat us. Seized from Slumber. Definitely means they could still have a Wrath. No concession here means they either have a Wrath or, you know, that's their path to getting back into the game. Wrath here would be good for them because this Overlord comes online right after the Wrath ticks out. It's possible we could have held that Kaya.
Nobody deserves these.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll scry one. Put this to the bottom. Wasn't expecting Kaya there. It's not going to get it done. GG's opponent didn't have a Wrath. Kind of surprising how they played that, but we'll get there. GG. Alrighty, opponent's going first. Definitely cannot keep this hand. This is mono red. This is a recipe to not even get to play a card. I feel like this is kind of what we're going to. The Cityscape Leveler is probably better in our deck. Mono red still is going to have a field day with this hand. Restless Cottage, so it looks like we avoid the instant mono red pain. That is a good card. Looks like we're going to get some time with this opponent playing some sort of Restless Cottage build. And they are really giving us time. Okay. I definitely expect that they can kill our Simulacrum Synthesizer. Seems like the type of deck that would have removal for artifacts here. That would have been good last turn. Alright, let's jam it. Scry 2, Tithing Blade. I think we can do better than Tithing Blade. Actually, I think we do better than both. We're going to shuffle our deck anyway with this Simulacrum, so keeping 2 cards doesn't really do too much. Bushwhack. Ah, this is a Phyrexian Obliterator deck. Okay. So, definitely need to be prepared to be Phyrexially obliterated. Phyrexially? I feel like that's a word, right? I'll allow it. Creature of the Schism. Sure thing. So, next turn, our opponent does have the ability to Phyrexian Obliterator. Which would be pretty good. We'll see what they have. I think we can live the first one. Famous last words, maybe. Do we want another blue mana or another white mana? We're good on black, I think. I don't think it needs to be white. Let's do a blue here. Second synthesizer. Okay, they're mapping us now, which means we're not going to take an Obliterator hit this turn. Probably means they have it next turn. What with Affliction? Okay. Yeah, we'll block here. Yeah, I feel like blocking's pretty free. Take our card. Another Junker. Dead and Dreaded, okay. So we could Tithing Blade and Carrot Cake. Just to get some artifacts onto the battlefield. But getting a Solemn down gets the same amount of artifacts on the battlefield. So let's do that. Definitely want to get black this time since we drew a couple of black cards there for Solemn and upkeep. Obliterator here is going to be good. See if they have it. Gix's command. Okay. That could have been worse, for sure. My big worry here, though, is that we're going to do all this, and then our opponent is going to be able to hit us really hard with the Obliterator. And we can't really stop it, because all our effects are sorcery speed, so that is pretty scary. If we just build up a huge board of synthesizers. Portal of Phyrexia is not a bad one. Could get a second synthesizer down. Could just Junker. That gives us something to crew as well. Okay, let's go there. Just submit one. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we keep land. Eventually to a Portal to Phyrexia. Okay, there's the Obliterator. Should be a fight spell here. Okay, whenever a source deals damage to this creature, so we're going to sacrifice 3 things. Okay. Can get rid of the Junker and 2 lands, I think. Definitely on the back foot. If they have any more of those, we're probably dead. We survived the first one. This portal is looking way less likely that we're getting to get there. Alright. Grim Bobble. We can do better than both of those. Now we have a 1/1, which is good. Sacrifice. Junker is good. We'll keep Junker. Alright, hoping to avoid a second Bushwhack here. Pretty, actually, interesting that this deck is uniquely set up to beat us, because we can't really just go huge with a synthesizer, or else, you know, that Obliterator would have been for all our permanents. So we have to play sort of judiciously. Maelstrom Pulse. Oh my goodness. Our opponent is putting it on us, and cut down. Wow. Very... I mean, you almost feel like this deck, with Maelstrom Pulse specifically, is built to beat ours with the Simulacrum tokens. Yeah, we're going to block here, though. Oh, there's trample though, so we have to block the other one. We have to block the sentinel. Okay. Okay, down to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have a bunch of these. Oh, and a Maelstrom Pulse on top. If they play a Dread Knight, I don't think we can win. Because we like kill 2 creatures. Okay, now we're locked out of winning, I believe. Yeah. Interesting build. Couldn't quite get there. The regular Golgari I think we're pretty favored against, but not that one. But GG's. I'm glad people are still playing this deck. It's a cool deck. Alright, we're going first. This hand does not have white mana unless we draw a Plains or a Swamp. But it does have blue mana and looks pretty good. We'll try it out. Wouldn't be bad against mono red, I wouldn't think. Playing against discard, I believe. Okay. Well, if we can get this Simulacrum Synthesizer down before they take it from us, I think we'll be feeling pretty good. Alrighty. Scry 2, just looking for big artifacts. We'll take Memory Guardian. It's an artifact that triggers our Simulacrum Synthesizer. It's just mono black. I'm not sure if they have a way to beat this. And they're looking at it like they can remove it, but that's more where that came from once we eventually start drawing. Okay, another Tiny Bone. Grim Bauble can take care of that. Okay, let's Meticulous Archive. That's who we want to dump. Don't want an island here. Just Grim Bauble. If we don't Grim Bauble here, what we can do is Microsynth Garden our Simulacrum Synthesizer, but I think it's probably better to get in this attack. I want to put the pressure on our opponent, and then we can surveil with this Grim Bauble if need be. Puts us down on artifacts, but we have, you know, a lot of artifacts already, so 1 artifact down with the Grim Bauble probably isn't crazy. Sure thing. You see that we have some Tithing Blades. You may take 1, sir. Mr. White Crow. Alright. Let's do some surveilling. We'll take Junker. Don't need the Swamp. See if our opponent is so inclined to block. They might block and then use a Corrupted Conviction here. If they do that though, it just now gives us back our Tithing Blade. And I feel like let's go ahead and do this now. Copy up. Not sure how our opponent's gonna beat this. Probably need some sort of combo. Discard, obviously, Tiny Bones, Corrupted Conviction, Deep Cavern Bat. I wonder what else they have hiding over there. Oh, they do have green. Okay, that does change this entirely. I didn't think they'd be able to break our artifacts here with some like shatter type effects. Alright, let's Tithing Blade. Get them sacrificing. They have yet another way to draw cards. Man, okay. Sure thing. I think we're just gonna play this just to get some big beefers, get up to 8 here. Put our opponent down to 1. What could they have? It would have to be like Phyrexian Obliterator plus Bushwhack. We literally just played against that deck. This doesn't really seem like the type of deck that would have it. It could be a Wrath, but we're not. I mean, a Wrath, we're rebuilding through that pretty easily, I would think. I think the season just reset, so we hit silver, so maybe that's what was going on. I don't know. GG. Alrighty, opponent is going first. We're missing white mana, though, with this hand. So we'd be just going Grim Bauble into Repurposing Bay. Not the fastest. Grim Bauble would need to be this Bleach Bone Verb. Purge. Bleach Bone, Purge. Okay, opponent is some sort of control deck with the Sunfall. Blue-white seemingly. That was not a bad draw. Don't think Junker's coming up here. Opponent knows what we're doing now that the Junker's been revealed. They know we're some sort of artifact deck. Haven't seen blue yet, though. They're going to see it here. With 2 repurposing base, I think we're just definitely fine to run this out and let it get countered. No more lies yet. So the name of the game is to try to resolve one of our good engines here. Repurposing bay. Or something else. Yeah, I feel like they're just sitting on mana to counter something again. So we'll just try to waste their mana. Telling that they didn't have a card draw spell there. Lord of the Flood Pits, sure. Draw 2, discard. These cards are temporary lockdown, okay. Can be good against us. Let's just get a 3-4 out there. This card doesn't mean much to us. If they want to counter it, that's fine. It's got flying. It does reduce the cost of like our Junker and some other stuff, but if it eats a counter spell or healer, really that's its most valuable. Okay, this is about as valuable as it could be, is to eat No More Lies. Okay, let's see what our opponent's got rolling. Another Overlord. You know, they clearly have counter spells and things in hand. If they're not using these Overlords for their full cost, they're impending them. Getting rid of the Sunfalls, it might doom them late in the game if we have some big tokens. Spring-loaded Saw Blades. So here we can cast this through and No More Lies, so I think it's a good place to do it. I would imagine they have a hard 3-mana counter spell, but we have to try to start resolving things. 3 steps ahead, yeah, that makes sense. Just not really getting on the board against our opponent here. Let's see. They're up to, what is that now? It's 7 mana. And they have the all Overlord draw. Okay. It's a real Overlord draw. It's not a... it's not an impend. And we have a lot of spring-loaded Saw Blades that we're gonna attempt to cast on our opponent's attack here. Okay, we'll let this resolve first. We don't want them to discard with the knowledge that we have spring-loaded Saw Blades in our hand. See if they're willing to use a counter spell here. Doesn't seem to be that they are, since we have a plethora of Overlords. Wonder if that was their win con, or if they have Jace. You know, I've seen this style of deck around a little bit. Does play Jace in Beza and whatnot. Things that can beat you down. Yeah, I think I want to just try another spring-loaded Saw Blades. I mean, they're going to be drawing cards either way. This is definitely getting countered if I just jam it out here. So I think I'm going to attempt to spring-load it again. Same reason as last time, I'm going to let them resolve this trigger. G-Chrome Coast gone. Alright, let's try it again. Might be willing to fight over this one. Looks like they're not. Okay. Opponent is being very wise in their counterspell usage here. You know, they've countered things that have mattered, like the repurposing bays. And we only have so many of those cards that matter. Okay, let's try to play Memory Guardian. Another 3 steps ahead there probably ices us out with the copy, draw 2 and whatnot, but they don't have it. We're planning to block here if they'll let us. Deduce, yep. Opponent is built around the card advantage. We'll have to see, though, if this is their entire plan to beat us, is just to overlord us. Their mana base hasn't shown any creature lands. Yeah, we'll block. Gotta imagine my opponent is running some way to beat us, though. Temporary lockdown, okay. Yep, well, we're content to trade there. Okay, they're full grip. See what their full power has. Another Overlord, sure thing. And Elspeth Smite. So our opponent is definitely trying to beat... Ooh, that's pretty good. Okay, so now our goal maybe is to get to a spot where we can resolve a portal to Phyrexia. I think that starts with a Demonic Junker. Getting counterspells out of my opponent's hand. We haven't seen... Okay, they decide to get use of their No More Lives. Which obviously could counter our Portal Phyrexia. The card is live as long as we have a portal. We have not seen any other way to beat us other than this Overlord. And I think now actually we're going to wait to do this on our end step. I think since we don't have any mana up, let our opponent do... Okay, they did found portal. There's another way they could theoretically win the game. Expect this one to get countered. Oh my goodness, no. That's odd. Okay, let's craft this with artifact. Get rid of this Memory Guardian. Tap these, get it rolling. Opponent can just make a fish to block. Oh, it does have... Oops. This is something I always forget with these flip cards, that you gotta, once you craft with artifact, it does not then necessarily have haste. Let's see if our opponent wants to have a way to blow up our chariot, though. Certainly have lots of ways to draw cards. Certainly feels like our opponent is miles ahead, but I just... Until they show me a way they can finish me off. Now that all their Overlords in the graveyard. Or if they have some sort of unconditional removal spell, or artifact removal spell in general. They have probably several more of these 3 steps in hand. They have the Mistmoors as well, okay. Interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can have this portal next turn. So with that being the case, I think that means we're going to try to get our opponent to counter things this turn. So yeah, we're going to try to get our opponent to counter a synthesizer this turn with a hard counter spell. They do block. Okay, that's fine with us. Gonna sack with the Fountain Port? Sure. No, decides not to. The damage has gone through. Not really sure why you would spend this mana right now. Okay, Elspeth Smite does exactly mean... Ooh, that's why they would spend this mana right now. Now, we're going to cast this Grim Bauble to try to bait our opponent into spending mana to sacrifice this 2-1. And we're going to try to sneak a Synthesizer in. Sure thing. Alright. Do you have another hard counter spell? We did our best to get our opponent out of mana. Let's go. Okay, we did successfully do that. Okay. Bottom both these. We just want artifacts 3 or more, and we just want to play a bunch of them. Yeah, we might as well do this right now. Get rid of this Junker. You could craft only as a sorcery. By the way, that's why I'm only doing this now. And I can do it at any time, so I could definitely just wheel that bad boy up to block this fish too if they get it feeling like they should attack. Bins and Islands. They only have 18 cards left in their deck. They have to have some number of Mistmoors, yep. Full Mistmoor, okay. Let's see if you attack. No attack. Okay, opponent played the right move there. My turn. Alright. Probably gets countered, but at least we're making a big, big synthesizer. They're going to sacrifice to draw a card. They're really looking for a counterspell. They might not have it. If they don't have it, they're going to regret sacking it because now they're going to lose their Mistmoors. Okay. See ya, creatures. Alright, let's crew. I shouldn't have been anywhere with haste, so might as well here. Start getting in for 5. Get lost, sure thing. Giving us notes for life. Okay, the real question is, are we going to get an Overlord of the Flood Pit back, or an Overlord of the Mistmoors? Opponent probably has Wraths in hand. Have to imagine they do. So I feel like that means the Flood Pits is better. Well, they did sneak an Anchorage in there. Opponent decides they need to get in. Sure thing. Anchorage could get all the way. Oh, Beza could be good too. Man, Beza just gained some life. Gain some life and draw a card. Yeah, count me in on Beza. Mycosynth Garden, pretty good for this synthesizer. Getting for 8. See what my opponent is feeling. They could create a fish and block. And that is fine. Sure thing. Okay, opponent should have Wraths in hand, so I don't want to jam this synthesizer. But I do want to use a map so we can find a land. We'll keep another synthesizer for sure. This can be done anytime, so yeah, let's pass the turn. See what my opponent feels like they should do. Demolition Field gets the Mycosynth Garden. That was an argument of using the garden earlier. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Knew they would have some number of those. Okay, let's get our opponent to use this Demolition Field. So that way if we draw another one, we'll be fine for the future. Losing the Solemn Alchemy is fine, I believe. Or we could decline. Yeah, probably will decline here. Go to my turn. Alright, which one do we want? Mistmoors or the Flood Pits? I think with the Flood Pits, I think with the Mistmoors to close the game out. So we get the Flood Pits in the meantime. Let's draw 2, discard. They're all good. I don't think we want the Junker though. Let's cast Solemn. Opponent might counter and then double up on the Mistmoors here. Wouldn't make sense. Okay. So our opponent is going all in. Okay, time for us to solemn, make a huge creature. Let's map on this Overlord. Another synthesizer on top, that's pretty good. Mapping there gives us 2 6/6s, or 2 6-power creatures to block the Overlords. See if our opponent believes they have to Wrath or not. Get lost. Okay. Up to a 9/9 there. Opponent's gonna make a lot of these creatures though. Oh, they have a lot of removal. Yikes. Okay. Wasn't expecting that necessarily. Do they have another one to get this? If they have another one, we're dead here. Okay, no it doesn't. They had a lot more removal than I was anticipating. Maybe I should have gotten the Mistmoors. Would have given me more blockers. Would have been better, I think. Might lose now. Should put us down to 4. Should take 12 here, put us down to 4. They can have a whole bunch of creatures. If they can kill the Solemn here, we're dead. I don't know what if they've been just slow rolling us this whole time. They are, okay. They just have all the get lost known to man. Yeah, we would have had 2 1/1s, 2 2/1s there to block. I'm not sure it totally makes a difference, though. GG's. Alrighty, opponent's going first. We just need a land here, and our hand turns to be pretty good. Let's keep this. Swamp unlocks our mana totally here, which is nice. That's what we were looking for. Blue black. Opponent knows we're Esper. Maze Mind Tome, okay. Let's play the Synchrolatrum here. Simulacrum. Opponent probably has ways to kill artifacts, I would imagine, but we gotta get things on the battlefield. God, imagine our opponent's playing creatures. These are both good, honestly. Let's give them both. Okay, opponent's looking now again. Let's see. They have a way to get rid of our synthesizer. They might not have had land. Maybe that's what's going on. Yeah, we'll just play the synthesizer and really put the hurt on them. Okay, they have Terra Sunder. That's pretty good. I mean, that's exactly what you want if you're our opponent here. We have Repurposing Bay to find more synthesizers. Starting next turn. Carrot Cake and Junker. I think we don't need the Carrot Cake. Junker's welcome here as long as we have a synthesizer, though. They're scrying again. They must be really, really hurting for lands. We'll see if they have more Terra Sunders or not. Liliana, that's fine. I wouldn't really sweating a Liliana.
Enough with the mysteries. Don't
get out of here with the blade, probably. Cut down, they're leaving. Jungle Hollow, sure. Okay, let's get a Repurposing Bay down. And so we could sacrifice this to get a 1/1, and then go up to a 2/2, like a Carrot Cake, and climb the ladder that way. We could just attack this. I think we're good to pass. We don't want this Leon to do is to ultimate. Sacrificing here is fine. Oh yeah, okay. Fine with that. Big creature here we're fine with. Annex, draw them some cards, that's fine. Sawblades. Sawblades is fine. Yep, let's get Repurposing Bay. Just as a 3/3, get some stuff going. Let's sacrifice Repurposing Bay. Go ahead and get Solemn Simulacrum and get a white mana. Another white mana. Start building our board out here. Makes our junker cheaper. Next turn we could just play out a saw blade to go get another synthesizer and then play out a junker. Opponent's got NX and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, saw blade's probably worse card. Voyage Home, I mean, is filthy. Draw 3 cards, gain 3 life. Take that all day. Okay, they're covering up. And they can take Repurposing Bay out of our deck, I guess. Took the Solemns. Sure thing. No sweat there. Yeah, let's draw 3 cards, gain 3 life. Play Saw Blades in their end step, and then we can Synthesizer afterwards on our turn via the Repurposing Bay. Dread Knight, draw a couple times. They're just looking to get some creatures, I'm sure. We can get rid of this swamp. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black mana sources. Yeah. Get this down. Sacrifice this. Get a Synthesizer. Carrot Cake, don't need either of those. Nexus of Becoming. Sure, might as well just get another big beefy synthesizer down. Yeah, I think we want this Junker in there. Submit 0. Actually, this means they have to have another Wrath. They might, though. They definitely might. Liliana, that's not going to be enough. Can lower our artifact counts. Oh, I guess they're gonna. They can make us stack 3 things. Yeah, not gonna be enough. I was worried about Deadly Cover up there. No, worked out in our favor though. GG's. Alrighty, we're on the play here. We have Tithing Blade and good mana. Tithing Blade, no turn 3 play. Maybe we can draw into one or scry into one of this Shadowy Backstreet. See their opponents against. They have ankle bottom that. Quintorius can't. Skin. Not sure what that means. Could mean some sort of. I mean, you know, he's a red-white planeswalker. Obviously, here they're playing the Domain Overlords deck. Yep, Domain of the Haunwood's coming through. Solemn down. I think we want a Plains. If our opponent goes Zur into attack with the Overlord, things are not going to be going well for us. Tap land, okay, so they can't have Zur. I guess they couldn't have Zur anyway unless they had an untapped untapped blue or black. Okay, Grim Bobble. Let's attack, see what's up. So we play this Carrot Cake, then we can play the Memory Guardian. So that'll be the plan. Definitely looking for one of our 3-mana engines. Hoping to avoid a Wrath here. Day of Judgment's fine. Sunfall particularly is kind of damning. No Wrath, they just went ahead and passed. Alright, let's get in there. A land binding, perhaps? Get Lost, okay. Fine with Get Lost. Means they didn't have a sweeper, probably. I think that would have been a pretty good sweeper target. Alright, let's get this in the 1-1. Hiding Blade, think we can put in a bin. Let's try it again. We'll keep Solemn. Plan to pass a turn, make a token with a carrot cake. Plan to demonic junker this overload on our turn. Keep this Solemn on our team, on our top library. Let's junk. We'll get a little junky. I think we do want to kill this 1/1. I think it's probably worth to get the counters on this. That way we can crew with the Solemn next turn. It's worth 2 damage. Especially into a Wrath here. I feel like that's worth it. I feel like this vehicle is one of our better ways to get into this. Okay, and our opponent has a Leyline Binding. Are they going to hit our demonic junker? They are, so this makes sense if they have a Wrath incoming, specifically an Exile Wrath. Okay, no, we get to draw toward the Solemn. We'll take that, and now they can play an Overlord here. I think that's probably what they've been waiting for. They give the Judges out of their hand to be able to play it, but no, evidently not. It's okay. We'll just run out the Solemn. Probably get a Swamp with the other Swamp in hand, but I think it's worth getting the Swamp there. Grim Bauble is definitely not what we're looking for in this matchup. Alright, let's get in there with Solemn. Cavern of Souls on Avatar. They do have more Overlords, you would assume. Mistmore's coming. The question is, do we play the Cityscape Leveler or not? We're really not presenting enough of a case if we're not. So I think we have to play the Cityscape Leveler. See, yeah, might as well kill the Up the Beanstalk. Leyline Binding on this Demonic Junker is not really doing much for us. Go ahead and pass the turn. No other binding, or maybe they didn't want to cast because they have Sunfall. Sunfall specifically against both of those threats is pretty good since they both have solid triggered abilities. Yeah, control or domain in general, really not what we're trying to play against here. And I think we're gonna just do this in craft. Get rid of the Solemn. That way we can have a vehicle here with some solid power. Just as a crew 1. Something for our opponent to think about. I need to avoid a Mistmore's here, probably. At this rate, we're probably gonna have to try to win through this Chariot. Ghost Vacuum, it's fine. Maybe they don't have much going on. Repurposing Bay, I see. Alright, yeah, let's try to cast this Grim Bauble. Let's tap 2 untapped artifacts. Try to get in here with this Blade Wheel Chariot. It looks like they're going to spend a removal spell here. Get Lost, maybe. Sure thing. Could get a Grim Bauble here, but I think we'd rather just get another Saw Blades. Could get a Carrot Cake, actually. Yeah. We're going to get a Carrot Cake, because I think we're going to Repurposing Bay. And we want the Scry as well. I think we're going to Repurposing Bay into Simulacrum Synthesizer. Do a little bit of mapping. And then Repurposing Bay is not bad. Okay, we have a little bit going on here. Let's see what our opponent has. Lumbering World Wagon. I'm not gonna lie, I've not seen this card. Search for a library for a basic land card when it enters. Interesting. Alright, yeah, let's just go ahead and get our 1/1. It doesn't matter. We're searching our library here anyway. Get our simulacrum synthesizer. Keep another synthesizer. Attack for 2. And yeah, I don't think we need to activate this repurposing bay. And our opponent can't find the answer there. Yeah, they just must not have hit overlords or whatnot. I mean, ran them out of threats, made them use their leyline binding on, you know, this vehicle here, and also made them use a get lost on a spring-loaded saw blades. We effectively used our resources to our advantage. So I mean, that did work out well. Not a great hand for us either. That's an encouraging win. GG's. Alrighty, we're going first, and we have a pretty good curve. We'll keep this. We can carrot cake since we have a swamp. And then we can play our synthesizers. Opponent is on some sort of white-black. Okay, opponent is on white-black. Aristocrats, probably, if I had to guess. So against that, I think we just want to get a big board as fast as possible. I think the memory, or the Grim Bobble, is good. I think we want to get this Ellis Illiquor Statistic Pilgrim with this Grim Bobble. Assuming they don't get anything else. And okay, I'm not really sure what they want. We will see. Memory Guardian is good because it prevents us from getting something big down, but something we can't beat here. We could play both. The Deep Cavern, we can play Grim Bobble into the memory. Get rid of the Deep Cavern bat. I think it's probably better to get rid of the bat. Okay, I've been convinced. And that way we can play the Carrot Cake into the Guardian as well, just to really get everything rolling. Keep another Junker. Give this 2 Junkers next turn. With the 6/6, the double Junkers will give us a lot of power. See if our opponent can get out of this. Shouldn't have Wraths in this deck. Yep, just definitely seems like some sort of life gain aristocrat-y deck. Okay. Helpful Hunter, not a card you see too often. Let's get rid of this Ellis Illiquor. Don't want to hit any of our armed creatures. I think we do want to get rid of this Drillin Sacrificer. Yeah, let's attack. I'm going to take a boatload. I'm expecting a Raise the Past here. That's why I wanted to really empty my hand, so we don't get tagged by another Deep Cavern Bat. Should be a Raise the Past here if there's been no concession. Yep, Raise the Past. Makes sense. We have a lot of beef going on over here, though. They have a lot of life, but we have a lot going on, too. Man, that is pretty good. Get a second Simulacrum Synthesizer. Man, I think we want to do better than that. We have a lot of just any 3-mana artifact. I think is better than that. Didn't hit it there, obviously. All right, let's jam. Too much our opponent wants to block. Free block here. Doesn't want to block with a Deep Cavern Bats. Okay, they do. So this basically just resets the raise the past. We'd have 2 Scry/Surveil abilities with the Carrot Cake and a Grim Bauble to use your mana effectively to try to get to a beefier card. Do we want to use the Carrot Cake or the Bauble first? Probably the Carrot Cake. Okay, Split Skin Doll, that's Split Skin, yeah. That's fine. They can draw their card. 2 mana, 2/1 draw a card in their deck. It's fine. Probably another Raise the Past coming at some point. Would make sense. We just need a big enough board to get past that. Anyway. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. Okay, that one's pretty good. Gonna lose a life here. Alright, let's gain 3 life though on this Carrot Cake. Let's get a 1/1 in Scry. Portal to Phyrexia. I can't cast that one quite. Would have been very good, but I can't cast it. Repurposing Bay, on the other hand, is very good. Turns our Junker into... Oh, actually turns this Memory Guardian into another pretty good card. Always forget the name of this Nexus of Becoming. There we go. Yeah, let's crew both. Combat, draw a card, put this into play. Swing big. Opponent should take some damage here. The real question is, can we beat 1 more Raise the Past? This is a 2/1, gain 1 life, each opponent loses 1 life. How much life can they gain? Raise the Past will gain... Ooh, that makes the Raise the Past. I think now this is lethal. They have Raise the Past here. Yeah, I think this is lethal now. I think this will be 21 damage. If I counted correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, maybe it'll only be 18. Definitely pretty good though. Okay, I was definitely off the mana, or how much that was going to do to me. Interesting, alrighty. Now we have this Repurposing Bay. Yeah, no blocks there. Carrot Cake, huh? So we can Carrot Cake. So it's all about this Repurposing Bay. So this 6 mana card is going to get us a Demonic Junker. This Nexus of Becoming would give us the Demonic Junker. We have 2 Repurposing Bay triggers. So we could get Demonic Junker and then... So we could sack the Demonic Junker, get Cityscape Leveler, and then we can get a Portal to Phyrexia. Swing in that way. I think it's probably our best bet. Don't have enough mana to do that and the Carrot Cake, though. So let's just get rid of this Junker. Cityscape Leveler. Oh, it's when you cast. Okay, so it's not going to get rid of anything either. Okay, let's see if the Portal... Let's get a Portal to Phyrexia here. Really beef up some creatures. Ask them to sacrifice 3 things. Oh, okay, but that is going to kill us here. Yeah, I don't think we can get past this. 5. Grim Bobble. Oh, that was pretty good. Because that lets us kill this LS Illicore. Yeah, make it here. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Opponents get the full out block. I mean, they're still going to take 28. I think this is going to be lethal still. I think we found the line. Being able to hit the Grim Bobble here. Eliminating as many blockers as we could with the Ordo Phyrexia. Oh, wow, I can't believe we had the horses to get through this. That was phenomenal. GG's, let's hit the wrap up. And we're back with Esper Artifacts, Simulacrum Synthesizer, and Repurposing Bay style. This deck is a ton of fun to play. If you just want to make as many big artifacts as you can with Simulacrum Synthesizer, have tons of decision trees with Repurposing Bay, this is the deck for you. You're definitely going to be weak to two things. The first thing being control decks, like blue-white or things that can counter your relevant spells. You have really kind of a low number of relevant spells against control. These, not relevant. Not relevant, not relevant. These 7 are very relevant. Next is becoming relevant. Demonic Junker, not relevant against control. Forge Home, they don't really care. These 2, they don't really care. So you only have a very select amount of relevant spells against control. So it's a matchup you're really trying to avoid with this specific build of the deck in general. And I think that's kind of where you want to be leaning, since that's not really a huge force in the best of 1 meta right now. Blue-white control. Blue counterspell sort of control is not really what you're fearing. If it's mill, you still have game against that. You just have to try to kind of draw out their wraths and play that way. But counterspell control really not what you're wanting to face here. Mono red aggro, still kind of a tough matchup here. You have to draw in succession all these beginning cards: Grim Bobble, Carrot Cake, Spring Loaded Saw Blade, Tithing Blade. Some combination of them you have to draw to really combat the power that they have. And then you can get out ahead eventually with your Simulacrum Synthesizer game plan, just getting huge, overwhelming board states. But a lot has to go right even for that matchup. So I think even though this deck is pretty tilted in its build with the white to take on that deck, you're still kind of a dog in that matchup, which I think unfortunately means it's probably not a great best of 1 deck. But if you want to just have fun and sling some spells and do your absolute, let your inner artifact child out, this is the deck for you. If you do play those more mid-rangey matchups, you have a good chance you're going to absolutely feast. It's super fun in those games because you're probably curb stomping your opponent, metaphorically, magic-wise. So very, very fun deck in that regard. Not perfectly suited to this meta, but just a few different meta changes. If it becomes super mid-range heavy, for instance, I think this is a place you could lean. Like, you don't want the meta to totally be Domain. I think Domain could give you some fits too, since they kind of are very similar, except they also have cards that also just have more high impact overall. They're similar in the fact that they have this overwhelming end game, like we do with Simulacrum Synthesizer, they do with the Overlord package. I think they kind of also just have more relevant spells throughout the whole game. So I think that is a matchup probably also want to avoid. So, now we're talking about a lot in most of the format. I think that this deck does not really have a great matchup against, but it doesn't. You can see a world where this deck could become really powerful into the future. It's just a world where the metagame is more slanted towards aggressive mid-range strategies. So it's possible. We'll see if it gets there. Fun to play either way. I enjoyed this deck, and as always, wherever you are, whenever you are, have a magical day.